Good evening, everyone. This is Malcolm Peters on the 8th of April, 2018 for our Sunday evening GPG live call. And it's my pleasure tonight to have a fantastic panel who's joined us. I'm a little bit out of breath at the moment because I just run up the stairs. I'm going to make sure I can get this call ready and started because I'll be watching the chat screen as we come on. I'm a bit short of breath, so I've just run down the stairs and come back. This is the beauty of live calls. So as you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first name, the city and country that you're calling from, so that people can find out who you are and I can find out who you are as well. We've got Jean-Claude Solier, who's called in from Lorient in France. Welcome to the call. For those of you watching the call for the first time, this is a weekly call that we hold on Sunday evenings to get our week off to a great start. It's really about Sapphires and above. It's a position that we have in our business of leadership, sharing with you tips and information that can help you with your home-based business. Our business in this case is Jeunesse Global. My name is Malcolm Peters. A little bit hoarse at the moment. Look like a horse as well some mornings, I can tell you. Calling in from West London near Heathrow, and I'm hosting the call. I'm an Emerald Director with this company. And it's always a great pleasure, this call, for myself, because it's a learning platform for new people. It serves three main purposes. First, it's there for existing distributors to get information to help them to build their business, coming from Sapphires and above, people who walk the walk, who understand our business, making sure that we put information across to the people in our teams worldwide to help them to build the Jeunesse business. Secondly, it's for new people, giving them nuggets of information and again, help them to build their business as well. For me, the most important thing about this call, which I will show you over the next few weeks and months, is for new people. People who are looking at our business for the first time, who suddenly see the international nature of our organization, Global Partners Group, GPG. So as you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names and where you're calling from. My voice isn't what it should be today, but I'm going to try and manage the call the best I can. It's great to see the people who've joined us. Embrace Life. We've got there Jacqueline calling in from Rotterdam in Holland. Welcome to the call. Nikos, welcome to the call from Athens. Great to have you online. Gillian, great to see you online from Johannesburg. Daniela, welcome to the call from Cyprus. We've got Lodanis. I always call him, I can never pronounce his name correctly. Lordianis calling in from, and Anastasia calling in from Greece. Welcome to the call. Happy Easter. The call is going to be broken down to little sections. I know a lot of people are celebrating Easter, so happy Easter for those of you who are celebrating today, a very special day, certainly for the Orthodox Church and for most people who are Christian worshippers around the world. And I think it's important to understand, I really respect the fact that several of my speakers have taken time out on this holy day to come and help you and support you on our call on Sunday. So we've got Leah, who's calling in from Rotterdam, and we've got Marinda, who's calling in from Cape Town as well. So without further ado, a couple more things to tell you is please, if you're new on this call and never been on this call before, the chat area is not there to have a conversation with people because it's extremely distracting for myself as the host, but also for the speakers that I have online. So please, if you have any questions or points for clarification, leave them towards the end of the call. If they're really, really urgent, I'll make sure that I cover them and I can make sure that some of our guests can help you with them as well. So I'm going to get the call started. And really what I want to say to yourself is it's always wonderful to have what I call the really big giant pins who join us on this call. And today I'm going to just introduce you to my panel first and get ourselves started. I've got on my panel today, we're waiting for one more. She's with her children at the moment, struggling to get on. On my panel today, we've got Emerald Director, who's Kerry Dean, calling in from Canada. We've got a Sapphire Elite, Laurie, who's calling in from Canada as well. We've got Lindy, who's in South Africa at the moment. She's going to go on first today because her internet connection isn't that good. Her husband or her partner or one of the relatives is really cycling at the moment with a dynamo to make sure they have enough power for the internet to be working for her. We got Dan, fantastic friend of mine, a great man who supports our calls every week, calling in from Tennessee in the USA as well. Malcolm Peters here, calling in from the United Kingdom. Again, like last week, isn't it funny how it repeats itself? It's like Groundhog Day if you live in the UK, because it always rains here. And you heard me saying this last Sunday. The ducks are happy. You can hear them outside. Last couple of people who joined us now. Carrigan, welcome to the call from Nova Scotia. Let's get our call started with my first guest today. I want you to get your paper out, get some pens. I hope you all have a coffee. Normally, when I'm listening to these calls, I have something a little bit stronger to make sure that it keeps me fired up throughout. A glass of wine to start off with. Tequila is what I end up knocking back right towards the end of the call, but not when I'm the host on this call itself. My first speaker tonight is Lindy Blomkamp, calling in from South Africa. And what Lindy's going to cover on this call today, please take notes, is support, balance, and time out. Support, balance, and time out. I know that I need all three of those. So without further ado, my guest, wonderful lady who supports this call regularly as a speaker on these calls, someone I consider to be a very good friend of mine, Lindy, calling in from South Africa. Over to you, Lindy.
Thank you, Malcolm, and welcome everyone to the call. Please let me know if my signal is a bit too bad, then I'll just turn off my video. So I want to talk to you guys about, support, balance, and time. Very important with support. You get different types of support. People that support you and you support people. So, the most important one, your spouse.
Hi, Lindy. Lindy, sorry to Lindy, sorry to cut.
So I want to start off with your family or your spouse.
Hi, Lindy. Can you hear me? Lindy? Hi. We have a real lag with your internet. We have a really bad connection. So what I'd like you to do, please, can you switch off your video? Excellent. Thank you for that. Okay, let's hear you. Hope she's not cut us off.
Yes, perfect.
There you go. That's much better. Thank you, Lindy. I love these live calls. Hi, Lindy. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Much, much better. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, perfect. So your support structure starts with your family, your spouse. Now, when you start your journey, doesn't matter whether it's a new business, whether it is going on a holiday or anything, you need an end result. Okay? So with your network marketing business and with your business that you just bought with Engineers, sit with your people, sit with your spouse, your family, help them to understand your journey. So you're making your vision board with them and they making your vision board with you. Ask them, where do you want us to go? Where do you see us going? Do we want to stay in, this 3-bedroom house, or do you want to stay in a mansion? And they need to understand your journey so that they can support you. And if you engage with them and you tell them, this is how we're going to do it, they are going to support you. Then you've got your team. You need your team support and your team needs your support. Let's take, for example, you confirm to go to an event, okay? And your contacts, you've got a few contacts going with you. Your contacts say, you know what, sorry, I've got a crisis, I'm not going. You still need to go to that event because you've confirmed. It's to show your support, not only for the person that is hosting the event or your upline, but for your own business. You need to show support for your own business. Your fellow team members, even though you might not know who they are, but you need to support them. Now your community. These are the people that you're going to introduce your products and your opportunity to. Take time to help out. You don't have to, use money to do this. Take time to help in an animal shelter. Go and support the community projects. Make yourself visible in your own community so that people will recognize you and see, oh, you know what? I saw that person and what a lovely person, because they always give their time. 1 hour a week, 2 hours, a month, it doesn't matter as long as you get seen. That is where the support structure comes in. And that is where people will see that you give support and then you can take support. Now I want to speak about balance. Every one of us is given 86,400 seconds a day. Nothing less, nothing more. Now think about how you are going to balance your day. If you take 900 seconds, that's it. 900 seconds is 15 minutes to plan your day, to balance your day, your thoughts. I promise you, you will see how many seconds we waste on things that is not bettering your life. If you take those and you say, I'm going to devote 20 minutes of my day to self-development. You know, you need to balance your work, your career, your family time, your business time, your me time, your self-care and self-development time, which is so important. You need to respect your balance and your time. Now, you know, the most important thing for me is time out. This is a very short thing from me, but I think it's very important. What do you time out on? Anything that does not bring a positive value into your life. It might be a relationship, might be a co-worker, it might even be your own time schedule. It might be your own reflection of your life. The parties that you go to on a regular basis. And remember now, there should be a balance, but instead of having friends over 4 times a week, you know, use 3 of those events that you would have had with your friends to build your business. I promise you, you will be glad you did. If you keep on contacting no one for 6 months, will your life stay the same? Will it get better or will it get worse? That's the question you need to ask yourself. In 6 months, if I carry on with this or this thing that I'm doing, is it going to better my life? Is it going to be the same or is it going to get worse? So you need to time out on all those things. Time out on wasting time. Time out on the negative aspect of everything in your life. So, you know, from me, Malcolm, that's all I've got now. So enjoy the journey, live in the moment, and love with passion.
Thank you so much for that, Lindy. And it's really great that you really, you know, you persevere. We always have slight challenges with Johannesburg, South Africa, and Zambia when they come on these calls. And I really appreciate your input. I just want to add a little bit, if I can, because I think it's very, very important. You've talked about 3 very important subjects. You've talked about support. This call is part of that structure that we're talking about. We have a fabric of support and training that we believe is second to none. The trainers that we've got in this organization collectively have, I'm quite sure, over 100 years worth of experience. We haven't got a 100-year-old as such, although we sometimes feel that way, but as a group collectively, we really have some fantastic experience. Many of us have been in the industry for 20 or 30 years. And you've talked about supporting your family. You've talked about the fact that you need to get support from your partners. I want to spend a couple of moments, if I can, over my 30-year journey in and around home-based businesses. Those couples who work together are 4 to 5 times more powerful than any single in this business, because it's like 2 horses scientifically, for some reason, has been proven to be able to pull 4 times the load. I read that somewhere and I thought that can't be true, but I know in this business it's important. And the hardest thing that some people have is that their partners don't back them. Their partners decide it's not for them. And I like what you've said, because I think it's important for partners to discuss with their other half. I like this. I love what I'm doing with it. This is why I'm doing it. Sharing the product with your partners, because unlike any other home-based networking business, which is a scheme or a scam or some half-baked product, we can actually demonstrate our product and we can show our partners how good the product is, why we've got involved. I think it's a great point that you brought up. I like the idea what you said about make yourself visible. I think that's so important. One of the things I want to do when I go to Jordan in the next 6 months, when I keep going backwards and forwards, I'm building a team there. I really want to make sure that I can go out there and help starving kids. I've seen kids in the streets who've got no money. So for me. I don't know who's just joined us there. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Sharon's managed to get online. So a couple more things I want to just share with you as well before we bring our next guest on board is that the support we talked about balance. You know, she talks about 86,400 seconds in a day, yet 1 second can change our lives. It's 1 second, one email that was sent to me just over 3 years ago, completely transformed my life. And it's important that you understand the message that she's trying to put across to yourself. May I say, before I bring my next guest on, I was thinking about it before a call today. Why is it people are finding it difficult to talk to every human being that they know about this business? The press is raving about us. Vogue, Elle, Cosmopolitan are talking about our product. They think they're fantastic. If you look at the Doctor's Show, Good Morning America, CNN, Mark McDonald's been on CNN with our products. Why is it when all the press love our product, are talking to hundreds of thousands of people about millions of people, why would we have a problem talking to other people about our product? And I think it's important to understand we're not in the convincing business or sales business. We're not trying to sell things to people. Our role is we're guides. We're guiding people through an information gathering process with the world's best products. It's not what we say, it's what the press says. And one of the things I'm going to bring to your attention right now is we have a process that we're going to teach you. And one of those parts of that process that I think is most important, I'm sure as you come on these calls, you'll learn, is something called follow-up. You've taken the person, you've showed them the products, you've showed them the opportunity, and now basically you need to do something called follow-up. And no one better in our organization can talk to you about follow-up than Emerald Director Kerry Dean, calling in from Canada. Follow-up is a key to building a long-term business, the key to bringing some of your biggest fish on board. You listen carefully to what Kerry's got to say. Follow-up by Kerry Dean, calling in from Canada. Kerry.
Thank you very much, Malcolm. I'm delighted to be here. Happy Easter to those of you who are celebrating. And follow-up is an interesting aspect of our business. It's actually one of the biggest part of our businesses, but it's one of the least used tools that we have. The statistics are that 95% of the people in network marketing don't follow up. That's pretty shocking if you think about that, because the numbers for coming on board are 2%. Only 2% of people will come on board from the first time they hear a presentation. 3% will come on board from the second time, but 80% of the people that hear the presentation between the 5th and the 12th time will come on board. So if you think about that, you lose a lot of people by not following up. Jason Karamakis followed up with Paula and Kathy every 3 months for years to come into Jeunesse. Jason phoned them every 3 months. And if you think about that, he would phone them. They became good friends because of his calls. And he would say the same thing every 3 months when he called. Are you ready to take a look at what I'm doing? And they'd say, no, we're real happy where we are. And one time they said, yes, we're ready. And you never know when that time is. So when you're looking at your list, some things I hear in network marketing a lot is people say next. Somebody says no, they say next. And don't say next. I don't say next about anyone. I have 2 times when I say next. If I'm out and I'm trying to attract new people, if I smile at them and they don't smile back, I think next. I don't want them in my business anyway. And if somebody gives me a nasty no, so if they're unpleasant, I don't want them in my business. But your follow-up contacts sheet should be almost as large as your prospecting sheet. In fact, sometimes it will be larger. And if you think about how our business works, we have products, but our inventory is our contact list. And so you have different areas of your contact list. You have your contacts that you have not yet approached, and you have your contacts that you have approached, but they haven't said yes yet. And so if you've approached them until they're engaged with you in your business, to me, they're still a contact. I would consider people who are in my business, who are not engaged in the business, they're still a contact. I handle them a little bit differently, but they're still a contact. So when you're following up, you should do part of it every day should be in your follow-up, and you should be contacting the people who are not yet in your business. So don't look at them as a no, just look at them as somebody who hasn't responded yet. So in our business, of course, we have Momentum where we're sending out the videos. We have J Mobile, we're sending out the videos. So if you send out a video and somebody doesn't respond within 7 to 10 days, that gives them lots of time to look at it. I would resend out the video and just say, hey, in case you missed this, I'm sending it out again. If you've gone through everything and they've seen everything you have to see, you have to offer, and they still aren't engaged, then those are the kind of people that I would follow up with, on for texting, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp. Email now, the past couple years, email is not as popular. You're not going to get as much of a response, but you can just put a picture of one of the products. You can send them a little note that thinking of you. Just keep in contact and let them know, ask them for permission. If you've gone through everything and they've said, no, it's not for me right now. Most people's lives have a life-changing event with every 6 months or so. Something happens, something's different. And so I like what Jason does and follows up every 3 months. And if somebody says no to me, then I say to them, is it okay with you if I get back in touch with you in 3 months? Because, things might have changed. I'll let you know how I'm doing. You can let me know how you're doing. And that way, you have a reason to call back. And I just put, so if it's 3 months, April, May, June, July, I have a July list of people I'm going to follow up on. And I just write their name down in July and I follow up. It's easy because I already told them I was going to. But people that aren't engaged who are already in your business, you can get a lot of volume from those people if you let them know, about things that are going on, anything new. Treat them as if they're not in your business yet, because somebody who only orders 3 times a year and then suddenly you get them ordering every month, that's a big bonus to your business. So I send those people, it's like customer service. Those customer service people are the same idea. The other thing when you're following up is you have to remember that most people are looking to better their lives. So when you're talking to people, I always like to talk about what we're doing, how network marketing can address the problems they have. I don't talk to them as much about the products, especially in the beginning, because I'm a big believer that network marketing solves problems for the majority of the people out there. Most people are looking for more income, more freedom, more choices. And network marketing offers an opportunity for all of those things. And I like that it doesn't matter what age group they're in. So we can build our businesses from our phone. That appeals to a lot of people. The idea that they could build a business and just send out texts and videos appeals to a lot of people. So a lot of people that you have talked to in the past may have a different vision of how network marketing looks today because they looked at it. Even if they looked at it a year ago or 2 years ago, things have changed a lot. And so you want to be able to bring them up to date with what has changed. One of the things that I think is important is you have different kinds of people on your list. If you're doing a cold list. So cold list is people that you have no history with at all. Maybe you just got their names off a list. And those are people that you're going to take, takes more effort to get an engagement with. My favorite kind of people that I work with are referrals. I like to ask for referrals. I've built every business I've ever been in with referrals, but I do the same thing. I understand the numbers. This is statistics don't lie. And so the numbers are you have to hit so many people and so many are going to come in and some will and some won't. And you don't have any control over that. But what you do have control over is how many you get in contact with. And I think if you're always respectful, if you're never judgmental, if somebody says that they're not interested right now, I always end the same way. I always say, well, I think we would be so great working together. Is it okay with you if I get in touch with you in 3 months, 4 months to see if things have changed? I always tell them that I want to work with them even when I'm trying to close them. I think that's the nicest compliment you can give to anyone, to say, I'd really like to work with you. And when you say that, that sets things up for your follow-up. If I've just sent a video and they've watched a video and I'm following up and I don't have a chance to set up something like a 3-way call, which to me is the easiest thing to do, probably the second least tool that we have other than follow-up that people actually take into consideration. But I always ask them, what did you like best about the video? I never say, what did you think about it? What's your opinion? Wasn't that great? I always say, what did you like best? Because immediately that turns people into saying, I liked this. And when they tell you what they like, then I know where to proceed. So if they said, I like the sound of that AM, PM, I know that they're probably a person who's going to be interested in the products. I always do come back to however, when they like the products, I always come back to, listen, these are such great products. And can you imagine how easy it is to build a business with this kind of product that we have to work with every day? So you're always looking for a way to have a continued conversation. And some of the people will, of course, join your business. Some will become customers. Some will join your business and never do anything. But I never just think next unless they've been really nasty to me. And then it's easy to think next because I don't want them in my business anyway. So just look at all of the people. If you go through and think of everybody that has not come on board so far, you probably have a contact list that's twice as big as you think you do right now. And that's your inventory. Remember, the contact list you have, the people you've made, been in touch with, the people who are on your Facebook, the people who you meet in the store, people everywhere that you know about are the people you can follow up with. And one of the things I find easiest to do when you're looking for that list is to think of people in different categories and categorize them. So when I'm looking, I have a category of follow-ups, people who are in other businesses. I have a category of follow-ups, people who I do business with. Now, those would be the same people that would be in your contact list, right? But now when you move them to your follow-up list, it's because they've seen something. They know what you do. I have a lot of friends that I purchase products from in other companies. But I always say when they ask me if I would be interested in their products, I always say, oh, yes. I don't know how many pots and pans I can use. I don't know how much jewelry I could buy. I don't know how many, I always make a comment like that and say, but I need some right now. So of course, but with our product, because everything is consumable, people use it up and then they want to repurchase. I had a Sapphire contact me this morning and said to me, and she's not working the business anymore. She became a Sapphire and she's not really focusing on the business. She said, will there be a Mother's Day special in May? And I just texted her back and I said, well, there's a great special in your back office right now. And I said, do you remember how to get in your back office? No. And because we're engaged, we think that everyone else is, but the truth is they're not. So she is now on my follow-up. So she's in my follow-up contact. So when you're looking at who can you bring on board, also who can you re-engage, you want to look at follow-up as expanding all of those things. If it's a cold list, I think you can hit them as many, every week, every 10 days, hit them again until they say, please stop bothering me, or unfriend you, or would you please get lost? To me, if they haven't bothered to respond, it means you still may be able to reach them somehow. You never know what you're going to send. That's the thing that's going to attract them. If they haven't slept in a month and you send them a picture of the PM, you could have a new customer. And a lot of people, as their life has changed, then they'll be more interested in what you have to offer. I always feel that I've done a poor job with follow-up when I have people get in touch with me and say, what are you doing now? That means I didn't do a good follow-up job, because everybody should know what I'm doing. Everybody should know what you're doing. And you treat everybody with respect. But remember, everybody who's breathing could possibly be a diamond in your business. So you don't know who they're going to be. And you just want to constantly do that follow-up. Think of all of us. If Jason Karamakis had not called Paula and Kathy every 3 months, I know for at least 5 years, every 3 months. That was a long time. And he constantly called them, got in touch with them until they finally said yes. Your follow-up could be your next Paula and Kathy. So never give up on anything. I do understand the idea of saying next is to protect your bruised ego because somebody didn't say yes right away. But just remember, no is not always forever. No is just for right now. Put those people who say no on your follow-up and decide how you're going to follow up with them. And if you remember that 80% of the people will say yes between the 5th and the 12th presentation. 80% of the people who have said no in the past are available to you if you present to them a few more times. So thanks very much, Malcolm.
Awesome, Kerry. Awesome information. My goodness. Can you see why I enjoy hosting this call? Because sometimes, you know, you get a little dusty and the dust settles a bit. You become a little blasé because you know it. But, you know, I really enjoyed it. And I'm going to tell you on this call live, and I'm always honest about these things. I really didn't. That's the first time, Kerry, I've ever heard that statistic. That's the first time in 30 years I've heard that. I didn't know that. We've always told, you know, follow up until they sign up or they die. That's an old Amway one, you know. That's very many years ago. But I really didn't know that. And I think that's something that we need to focus on, and I certainly will. And I think that was absolutely gold. Anybody watching this call should record this, or it's recorded anyways, find it, find a way to download it and cut this snippet out. I think that's an incredible, incredible, incredible contribution on your part. And that's why, you know, I love what you do. I think everybody in our team in the inner circle is absolutely fabulous. That was brilliant. So I just want to cover a couple of things if I can. First of all, what have I got out of it? 80% of the people that we talk to will join your business or have some kind of action with you between the 5th and the 12th time. I think that's unbelievable, because, you know, I am the Mr. Hardman who says, well, next please, you know, I'm not in the convincing business, I'm in the sorting business, and I'm going to tell you that's really hit me right there and right over here as well. And are you know, ready to take a serious look? I like that. I like the idea that you're trying to keep the door open with people. You know, we had Andrea Walters, remember, who came on the call. I'm going to try and bring her on next week or the week after. I think before my operation, I'll do that. And she's the one who always says, and you're right, it's not no for now. It's no for now, but not no for forever, which I think is brilliant. Also, another couple of things. Wow, very important things. You know, it's so strange sometimes. We get a bit jaded. I think it's age catching up. I need mind or something to sort of boost me up a little bit. You're so right. There are so many people who joined. I've had 97 people who joined my business in 3 years. Many of them were just salons or whatever. But I'll be hand on heart, I haven't followed about 70 of those up. I haven't called them. I haven't been in touch with them. They bought a couple of products. And I think that was an absolutely gem of a contribution on the call. I really, really appreciate it. So anyone watching that, I think, should take notes. My next guest is someone who I don't know her subject completely, but her colleague who joined us earlier told me about what it was. But before I do, let me just tell you a couple of things about these girls and these ladies who help us. There's a group of people that I work with, and many of us know from South Africa. Phenomenal, phenomenal team. I am proud and I'm privileged to call them my friends. And the reason I call them friends, and not just friends, we're in different lines of sponsorship. That's what I love about GPG. But, you know, they always support the call. There are people on this call right now from India who've just come on board. Hi, calling in from India and from all over the world. And what I like is these are the kind of people that I really respect. I love, absolutely love them, and I'm happy to help them at any time. They called me in Jordan once. They said, Malcolm, can you help me with a call that you can do for us in our house? I said, absolutely, I'm happy to come online. And the girls I'm talking about are Lindy, and we've got the next one who's coming online right now, Sharon. Never been in network marketing, don't understand what this is. You know, Sharon's a full-time mother. She's got beautiful children and a family to look after, married lady, of course, and her husband's in business. But I just got to build them up and give you this edification, because I really respect you for this. The girls who are watching, and Lindy's just left right now, support every call. They're always here. They always contact me, and they contact all the other leaders to find out what they can do, which is so wonderful. They don't just talk the talk, they walk it. And most importantly, they're always available to make a contribution on the call. Today, Sharon's got on. She's told me she wanted to go straight after us because she got the children to put to bed. But I believe, if I'm not wrong, her subject for today, Sapphire, calling from South Africa, is CRM. I hope I'm right. If not, put me right. My good friend, I really love this lady, and I love Lindy as well. Good friends of mine, Sharon Wilkinson, calling in from South Africa. Sharon.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you so much, and thanks for the understanding of my complications getting onto the call this evening. Go find them. Sorry. Daughter here, so that's why I need to put her to bed. We're actually at a birthday party of a 52nd birthday party of family that's actually traveled from Saudi Arabia. So this business I find as the business you can do anybody, if you are the type of person. I will be on this call for my contribution to be on the call. Party, not party, birthday, family, home events, Sunday nights. I will be on this call, Malcolm. You support me, I support you, and I flippin' love you. 100%. What I'd like to contribute to this call is, go and find them quick, super quick. What I would like to contribute this evening quickly from my side is, before I need to go and actually travel home with my kids, is CRM, Customer Relations Services. Exactly what Kerry spoke about this evening is so, so important, I think, in anybody's management of any business, not just our business, not just anybody's business. I think customer relations and customers management of your business and who you are particularly dealing with in a business is, there are a few points, apologies, a few points that I want to kind of touch base on is sales, your services, support, and quality. That is what CRM stands for. If you go into your back office and you go to your J Mobile office and you go to your help desk, if I stand corrected now that I'm sorry, so much has happened. Your help desk, under that tab is CRM. Is your customer relations management. Okay. Okay, go and find them. Thank you. Customer relations management. Apologies, everybody. So please just bear with me for this time. Customer relations management. And I've learned through it in my industries of many, many sales industries that I've been involved in. It is the biggest point of sales management that you need. So it's not just a, how do I get leads in? How do I get leads out? How do I close leads? Who am I phoning? Who am I following up with? Who am I dealing with in my entirety of business? CRM, customer management, or customer relations and management. Okay, sales, services, support, and quality. Few of the topics that I want to specifically speak about in terms of that. Prospects we're bringing in. On a daily basis, we speak about prospects. Who are our prospects? Prospects are people that we are bringing into our business, who we are trying to, so are we trying to change somebody's life? Are we trying to bring them in on a business point of view? Those are prospects. What is your prospect and who are you specifically looking for in your business? As Sharon, I'm looking for people that I can change people's lives. I look at the product point of view and I am looking at who I can speak to in terms of a product point of view. Am I looking at the business from a, I need to get people in and recruit, and get as many people recruiting at the same time. So I think you need to acknowledge, pinpoint, and pursue what type of business you are trying to focus on. I think that is a very important topic of a prospect you are looking to pursue. Promotions. Kerry spoke about it. When you speak to a person, they might say, I'm not involved in the business. I'm not involved in this. I'm not involved in that. But you know what? I've bought reserve. Phone me the next time you've got a reserve promotion. In South Africa, we've just had a reserve promotion, and I sold more reserve promotions through friends who sent me messages about my magic purple potion that I could imagine about. And I think that was so important for me, is it was a pinpoint for me, is it was a promotion. I could go back to people I knew in my marketing or my customer relations spectrum of who I was going back to. I was looking at people who were looking at not the business, not the product, but promotions of certain products. I was CRMing. I was customer relations and promoting from there. Interaction. Am I following up with a person who's looking at the business, product, or am I looking at a sign-up? I think that's a very important. Interaction with people on your CRM system is incredibly important. On a CRM system, you've got a drop-down, you've got various different ones. I should probably go on and actually physically show you the difference. You've got promotions, you've got, are they looking for signups? Are they looking for more information, 90% of the time you can put in a spectrum. It's actually, so to be very honest with you, it's something I've just come across. In terms of my husband's biggest spreadsheet, put on Excel, put on Excel, put on Excel. And I write Excel spreadsheets, and it drives me completely nuts. And I've been saying to Lindy, I cannot do these Excel spreadsheets. Liesel says to me, have you done your spreadsheets? And I'm going, no, I physically cannot do. I'm not a spreadsheet person. But I can go onto my system that I use on a daily basis and type in Lindy Blomkamp, her cell phone number, her email address, and it's got a drop-down tab that gives me some information. I can do that. Hot, cold, medium, not interested, product related, promotion related. I can do that. And anybody on this call can physically do that. Even if that is a physical start as a CRM system, hot, cold, medium, promotions, they can physically put that in. So that's your interaction that you've got. Analysis. You can then pull onto a spreadsheet. Is your interaction hot leads, cold leads, medium leads? Are they promotion leads? On a monthly basis, you can do that. You can pull it across and say, I need to phone. Even if you don't physically put it on an Excel spreadsheet, on a monthly basis, you can go in. I've got a new promotion. You go into your tab and say, these 5 people are interested in promotions. These 5 people would be interested in paying less. So whether it be 3,900 Rand in our terms and signing up on 3,500 Rand, there is a saving. Phone those 5 people, sorry. Phone those 5 people and manage your prospect people in those lists from your CRM people. 5 people, 10 people, 1 person. 1 person might be interested in a promotion. 10 people might be interested in 300 Rand saving. 1 person might be interested in something else. Phone those people. Phone them all. It's a database, which brings me back down to orders and database. You might have people that want to order reserve. You know that order reserve. You've got a prospect list of the people that order reserve. There it is in your back office on your system. Or you have a database of people who want promotions, cheaper prices on signing up as a wholesale or a product promotion. You have a database of people through your CRM system. As a person who's been in a sales industry, my biggest issue with the CRM system was that people were tracking you. I've worked through a number of companies, and I refused to work on a CRM system, a customer relationship management system, is because my management was tracking me. I hated that. Now, as the management of my own business, my own company, my own people, my own prospects, I want to work with a system that tells me who I am connecting with, who I am promoting with, who I would like to sign up, who is hot in my business, who is cold in my business. And I have a system on my back office, on my J Mobile application, which every single one of us have, at a click of a button. And it's something that I'm going to train with going forward for every single one of my people. Type in whether it's somebody who you've contacted for the first time, the 10th time, the 40th time. I have a box. I've taken one of my old Luminous boxes and I've taken business cards and receipts that I've written on, because we've all done it. We've got a business card. We write a prospect's name on. And sometimes what happens is we are the bad person. We don't follow up on it. And it's really bad. But why don't we follow up on it? Because we never remember to write in our diary that next week, Thursday, we need to phone the person. So what we do is we take that and we throw it in our box. If you take those 5 leads or 5 prospect numbers on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and sit and capture them into your CRM system and put a date to it, which it gives you, a date that you've captured the details, you can see when that prospect or that lead has come in. You can then follow up with that, and you can schedule that rings an alarm that you need to schedule up with them on a certain time, whether it be next week Thursday, next week Tuesday. You can put it in your phone, but it's something that can actually get you to follow up with your prospects on a timeliest basis. Communication is all about CRM, and I think that's one of the biggest things. What CRM has for you is the communication. You can schedule a party from there. You can schedule a number of things in that back office CRM system. I'm sitting at a party today. Sorry, so a couple of glasses of wine. Apologies about that. And you know what the biggest thing is? I've got my brother-in-law who has never, ever believed in this product. Never, ever. I've got him on the 3-product business promotion of Reserve because he's got degenerated cartilage in his knees. He's on 3 Reserves a day currently because it's something that he didn't believe in. Today, and I struggle to, in a personal situation, to discuss my business because we as network marketers who believe so much in our business, and I am so much that person that I am my business. I live my business. I live Janice. I live the products. I live every single aspect of what this company has done. I've seen it. I've done it. I've lived it. I've been overseas. I've done the head office. I've met the amazing people. I've made the connections. And I'm more passionate about this business than possibly some of the people that have been in the business for so much more. And I think what's so much, what's so much bigger in my corner is the fact that I can actually portray the passion that I've got in this business. And I sat with 2 people today who spoke about somebody who's got cancer. And I relayed a story that we've currently got circulating in South Africa. 2 people said to me, and I said, you know what, I really don't particularly in a personal environment want to push my business because we wouldn't do it in any other business. I don't want to personally sit here and talk about how I can fix you, but I do believe that my product could fix you. And I had 2 people say to me today, do you know what, I'd like to know more information. I got 2 leads today of people that I've personally met. One lady that I didn't meet, I've never met before, that I've never met before, and the other that I have. And I think it is so important in keeping leads hot and cold and constantly, even if it's not about promoting your business, it's about sharing. Exactly like Malcolm said. I'm done, Malcolm. This business isn't about, it's about sharing. That's all I want to say. It's about sharing. If I can fix and change and do something positive in your life, it's what I'm going for. It's not about changing my life. In the process of this, it's about changing everybody else's life. And I think that's all I want to share. My very quick speech, and my family have all taken my kids off. So now I'm done. Thank you very much.
I think you're wonderful. And, I've just got to share with everybody. I think it's amazing on Easter. You're at someone's house. You've got your children with you in a party environment. But, I really respect the fact that you've come online and you've really shared with us this information. I think it's so important. It really dovetails so well with what Kerry said as well. And I've got to share with everybody right now, and if you're making notes, that I am probably the most disorganized person you can ever meet. And that's why I'm always at my best when I've had a partner of mine who is a PA or an ex-PA or one of my staff that work with me in my companies who's really organized. And I've made fortunes when I've got an organized person with me. And I've got to share with you that I've never used that CRM. So, I've been in the business for 3 years, and we're so busy being busy doing stuff that we forget some of the basics. And I made a note when you were talking, and based on the 2 things that yourself and Kerry brought up is, what kind of business are we running? Now, I know Dan, who's coming on later on, like myself. I come from a corporate background. I've not had a company like his. He's had 4,000 people working for him. I've had 155 at my peak. But we always had managed, we managed everything. We organized things. And I keep telling people, isn't it strange? Isn't it strange when you're working for someone else, you expect to work in a business way. You expect to follow certain rules. You expect to do certain things. And 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock for 40 years of your life, you do that. But when we come into this business, suddenly we fall apart. Most people don't. And I think it's very important what you've said. And here is the notes that I made. Are we running a dollar business? Is that what this is? Maybe if you're running a dollar business, that's why you're making a few dollars. Or are we running a multinational business that's going to earn us tens of thousands of dollars per week? Now, in my best week, I have made that kind of money. And I know a lot of the emeralds in our business have enormous amounts of money. And yeah, and you're so right in what you've said. That's why I'm glad to come on the calls on Sunday, that I don't have CRM, customer relationship management. I don't really manage my time as well as I should do. I don't really follow up like I should do. And I'm talking to you as an emerald. So I think that might be the reason why I'm not diamond quite yet. But what I say to yourself is I think it's fantastic. And it shows you that a lady on a night out today has got the passion and the perseverance to come on the call with her children. I really love you for it. And I thank you very much for joining us on the call. I'm glad you have a couple of glasses of wine. I don't have that pleasure at the moment. I've been in a dry state for the last 4 months. I've forgotten even smelling alcohol now, and I fall flat on my back.
Come to SA.
Thank you so much for that, Sharon. I think it's excellent. And I could spend a bit more time on it. Oh, I've just made one more note while we're talking, if we can. It was brought up by who we're looking for. Can you just make a note while it came to my mind? It's something that might help you. Who are we looking for? If myself and Dan, who's a very good friend of mine on these calls, a great support, when we ran our companies, we would go through a lot of CVs. We would make it very difficult for people to join us. We have a business here that's proven, without question, it's proven, where people can make $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 per week. No if or but, no hype, no BS. Fact. So the average person could work with us for 2 to 3 years, really consistently learn the business. We know that they can make themselves 2, 3, 4, 5,000 a week. It's not guaranteed, but we know they can do that. So who are we looking for? Because we need a management structure. Well, the kind of people we're looking for, maybe you should make a note. We are not in the convincing business. We're choosing people to work with. I'm looking for people who are ambitious. That's the first thing I put down. I want someone who's got a bit of ambition. People say to me in many of my meetings, Malcolm, what kind of people are we looking for? I say to them, I'm looking for dissatisfied people. People who are unhappy with a 9-to-5 routine, who want more. That's who I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who are teachable. That's the hardest thing we're going to find in this business because they know it all. They come in the business 3 weeks later, or they come a Sapphire, I know everything, and they fall down. We're looking for teachable people. We're looking for serious people, not just anybody, serious people who are looking to take action now. We're looking for likable people. Kerry's so right, and so Sharon. You've got to like that person. Like I like the girls I work with right now in this team. I like Kerry. I've known Kerry for years now. We like each other. Sometimes I'm a pain, but she does like me. I know that she does. So you've got to like people. We've got to like attracts like. We're looking for self-starters. It's very weird, isn't it? They pay the money to Jeunesse, the $35. They buy the pack for $250 to $2,000, and then they expect you to run around and change their nappy and their produce. But, it's a dirty habit to do that. But I'm not going to do that. You're looking for self-starters. We can give them the opportunity. What they do with it is up to them. We're looking for people who are motivated. We're not looking for people who have a small spark. So we can come along and put gasoline all over it. That's what I enjoy doing. That's why they call me the fire starter. My next guest is someone who really is a fire starter. Someone who's become a sapphire elite in our business. She's absolutely brilliant. Every time she comes on, like all of my panel guests, she's always got a great contribution. I can't wait to hear her contribution tonight, because tonight she's talking about exactly where I am right now, being in the moment. Laurie calling in from Canada. Laurie.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Perfect. That's great. And I just want to say, echo Carrie and say, happy Easter for those who are celebrating. And I have to say, I have taken tons of notes already from the speakers tonight. So unbelievable passion and great knowledge tonight. So thank you so much. I wanted to talk about being in the moment. And really when we own a business with network marketing, and I believe it's the best career out there. and it is a career. And for those who don't think it's a career, I want you to kind of do a little bit of a head shift if you can, because I don't think there's another opportunity out there that can do for us what this can. You know, it allows us to work around our family, work around our friends, the time we spend with those that are important to us. It allows us to work around another job if you have another job. It allows us to dictate the amount we have on our paychecks. And just like you said, Malcolm, how many opportunities out there that you can make this kind of money with very little startup costs. So it truly is an amazing career. But you know, when you own your own business here, and it can be very hard to stay focused. It can be very hard to keep yourself on a successful plan every day, because let's face it, life gets in the way. But it's so important to be disciplined, and as it is to be easily distracted. So let's think about it. If you have another job, because many of us have another job, I do this full time, but there are many, many people in this company that have another job. And if you went to that job every day, you wouldn't be able to watch, say, your favorite show that's on TV. So what you would do is you'd record it and watch it when you could. If it was a beautiful day and you were at work in an office, or I used to work at a hospital, so, you know, as a nurse, I wasn't able to come home and just do my gardening whenever I wanted, just say to my boss, okay, I'm going to take off and do whatever I wanted. You can't do that, because if you did, you probably wouldn't have a job very long. But it's really no different here. I mean, this is the opportunity to work from your home or wherever you are, working from your phone. But you have to really work your business. You have to own your business, and you have to work it. So this discipline can be tough, but it's critical for becoming successful. And I really think that discipline really is the difference between setting a goal and accomplishing the goal. And, you know, Ian Murray always says something that I absolutely love. He says, there's no CV in TV. And I've always shared that with the team, because I think it's critical for us to realize how important it is to stay on our game and be in the moment when we're working, whether we're working this full-time or whether we're working this part-time. So when you're working, are you doing something to move your business forward? Are you doing those RPAs, those revenue producing activities? You know, revenue producing activities are just that. They're activities that are helping you grow your business and generate an income. So are you picking up the phone? Are you sending a video to someone? Are you following up with someone? Just like Carrie said, so important to follow up with these people. Are you meeting someone? These are revenue producing activities. These are what are moving our business forward. These are the activities that are going to create momentum, and these are the activities that are going to create us income. And this is really, it's being in the moment of working your business. It's like having a business hat on at that time and staying focused. And it's really key to our success. So if you work this full time, ask yourself, are you working it full time? Are you actually dedicating your full-time job time to this career that you have? Or if you're working it part-time and working around another career, another job, are you setting the time a day apart, some hours a day aside to work your business and to focus on your business? Because again, I believe that disciplining yourself really is huge. And when you think about disciplining yourself, where does it come from? In my opinion, disciplining yourself comes from how strong and how huge your goals and your dreams are. I truly believe that. It's the hunger inside of us. It's that keeps us going, that need to do what we need to do every day. Because, you know, the fear of not getting what we want in life is bigger and bolder than the fear of doing what it takes to get it done. That is where the discipline comes from. That creates discipline. That creates the activities to do what we need to do every day. And Jim Rohn has a quote. It's sitting here on my board, my whiteboard. I read every day, and I absolutely love it. He says, you know, we must suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline, the pain of the pain. I got to read it actually. The pain of discipline, or the pain of regret. The difference is that discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons. So when you're working, you need to be in the moment. Don't get distracted. Don't go over here. Don't go over here. Blinders on, and do what you need to do. If you want to go up, you need to show up. And for me, what I do every day to stay in the moment, to stay focused, is I do two simple things, one weekly and one daily. The first thing I do is every Sunday, which I will do after this call today, is I sit down quietly and I look at my calendar for the week, and I decide on Sunday, where do I want to be by the end of the week? What is my goal to accomplish for the rest of the week? What are my cycles? Where do I want my cycles to be? Where do I want my volume to be? How many calls do I need to make that week? And then the second thing that I do is every night before I go to bed, I write down the 6 most important things that I need to do the next day that are going to move my business forward. Revenue producing activities. What are the 6 most important things that I need to do? I write them down. It gives me a sense of accountability. It gives me a sense of, I have to do, this is my focus. This is where I stay. And then when I've done them, I check it off, because it's then my feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of success for doing it. And it's like congratulating myself, which is a cool thing. So it's, again, very important when you're working to stay in the moment. Now, there's a flip side to this. The flip side is when you're not working, or when you're spending time with your family, when you're going on a vacation, when you want to relax, when you want to read a great book, you know what? You need to do that as well. You need to be in that moment as well. Creating balance really in your life is an absolute critical thing to do. Lindy talked about finding that balance, and it was spot on, in my opinion. I used to be really bad at this. I will share a quick story. Years ago, when I first started in the industry, it was direct sales, and you know, my kids would come. Dinner time has always been very, very important time for me and my family. We've always shared our stories. We've always shared about our days, and even today, with our kids all gone, it's still important time for my husband and I. But when I remember at that time, cell phones weren't quite as big as they are today, and I had 2 lines in my house. I had a personal phone line and a business line, so I knew if my business line rang, what it was. And I remember on more than one occasion sitting for dinner, my kids had just got home from school, sharing their day with me, talking about their homework. My husband just got home from work. We'd be talking about the day. And I remembered my business phone ringing. And this happened on more than one occasion. And I got up and I answered that phone. And because I didn't want to lose that business call. But what I did do was I lost that moment. I lost that moment with my family. They needed me there. I needed to be there. And I realized that, you know, doing this business was because they were my why. It was because of them I was doing this business. So it's really important. I'm way better now. I don't do that anymore. But it's really important to be in the moment when you're not working too, because balance really is critical to having a successful career and a successful life. And, you know, we need to give ourselves permission to refuel, to get recharged. And because I think that's so important to our health and our business health. We all deserve to have me time. We all deserve to have that family time. And isn't that why we're in this industry? I mean, isn't that why we do network marketing? So that we have the opportunity to do those type of things and spend the time with the people who are most important to us. I think that's what it's all about. So I'm gonna close out in 2 seconds with a quote. But before I do, I just wanted to say, you know, just to reiterate, you know, when you are working, work. You know, work hard, play hard. Always be in the moment, whether you're working, and discipline yourself to do that. Put your business hat on and do it. When you're with your family, put your fun hat on and do that, because it's so important to find that balance in your life. I think that makes us happier. I think it makes us healthier, and I think we appreciate life that much more. So I just want to close out with one more Jim Rohn quote. Let me find it here, bring it up on my computer so I can see it. Okay, he says, life without balance can cost you your relationships. Life without balance can cost you your health. Life without balance can cost you your spirituality. Life without balance can cost you your wealth. Things to motivate you from all areas of your life. Your success depends on it. So with that, thank you very much, Malcolm, for having me here, and back to you.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What a call. Putting myself together. We were echoing it. Laurie, you need to go and put your microphone. First of all, absolutely fantastic contribution. And I drew that there exactly when you were talking about the balance of discipline and distraction. the yin and the yang. And I've got to tell you that I haven't got a fulcrum point. That's my problem, because I don't have a center point where I can balance it. And I know for a fact, because I know my next guest coming up is probably a lot more disciplined than I am. And I've been a bit spoiled. I've always made an excuse to say, well, I've got a PA. That's why I've got the PA. She does it all. And I've had some great PAs. And I think that that contribution, again, as part of this call on Sunday, these are wake-up calls for all of us. Discipline you've talked about. And that discipline comes from how big is your why. The biggest problem we've got, Laurie, the biggest problem that we've got, Kerry, the biggest problem that we've got, Dan, the biggest problem all of us have is the majority of people that come in don't have or don't understand what really their why is. And we don't spend enough time talking to them about it. They don't understand that really we can change their financial future. They don't believe inside that we can change them as people. They don't understand that we have the vehicle that really can get them where they want to go. Why are we in this? We're in this for several reasons. Everyone's got a reason. Some people, I keep saying this in Jordan when I'm out there, $200 would dramatically, not just a little bit, dramatically change the lives of 90% of the people in Jordan. In fact, worldwide, $200 a month extra would change people's lives, because most people haven't got any money. They've got more, more time or more week left than the more month left than they've got money left. And I think it's important. And when I make these notes, I keep thinking I need to clone myself, because I'd like one of me to go into the discipline side of it, one of me to go and do something else. But it really motivates me when I hear you guys. Who motivates the motivator is people like yourself, Laurie. It's people like yourself, Kerry. And it makes me realize that there's lots of little bits that are missing, and we get a bit jaded. That's why these calls are so good. You should all come on them. I'm on the host. I've been doing this for 20 years. But, little things like today, so many fantastic things, the power of discipline. And, really what I think about is the yin and yang, discipline and distraction. How fabulous was that? I could sit here for another 20 minutes and dissect all of this, but we're running out of time. Fantastic contribution, Laurie. I really, really respect you for the work that you put in there. And it's from your heart. You're talking to people right now. That's what I love, is you're telling people as it is, just like Kerry did, all of my guests did. My next guest is someone I always really edify the best that I can, because I love this man. I think he's absolutely fantastic. Anybody who knows him, he's part of Kerry Dean's team, brought in by Kerry Dean's This Business. Everyone goes to him because he's a very likable guy. He's a likable giant, actually. I'm a bit short compared to him. He's about that tall. I have to look up to him. I actually look up to him, and I do that because of my height. But apart from that, I do that because of his character as well. He's absolutely a fabulous guy. Man who's been very, very successful in business. He's extraordinary gentleman. He's built, he's had a business before with 4,000 people. I could spend, again, 20 minutes telling you about the rise and fall of this gentleman who's going to speak to you next. He is an avid supporter of my calls on Sundays. And he's going to talk to you about a subject that I think we as a group in GPG really need to make our drumbeat, to make it our marching song for the next 3 months as we go into the second quarter of 2018. And that drumbeat is all about lead generation, and that drumbeat is about social media. And I can't think of anyone better. We have two fabulous trainers, and one of them today that you're going to hear from is Dan Parks, calling in from Tennessee, Jack Daniels land. Good friend, fabulous, fabulous speaker. Listen carefully to the notes and make notes of what Dan's going to say. Dan, over to you.
Once again, Malcolm, thank you. I'm privileged and honored to be surrounded by you and Kerry and Laurie and the other speakers. Kerry sponsored me, and to this day, I'm grateful for every day. She's been she can handle me quite well, which I can be pretty difficult. And funny you talk about this before, and I made a note of this, was you talked about when you had a lot of direct reports and building a company and how hard you worked. My skill was actually, to be honest, was delegation. I was really good at delegating. But I worked at different levels. And my problem was, particularly when I started Nubox, was that I wanted to have my hands in everything. And it's very, very difficult to delegate away things that that you can do. And of course, the sin of that of being a perfectionist is you can always do it better than anybody else. And in this business, one of the hardest things for me to learn is to empower the people I sponsor with the training and the knowledge so that they can become empowered. It's not about us. And it's funny to say that because that's kind of what social media is about too. And for me, it's a growth process. I was told years ago by my father, you have two choices in life. You can live or die. And hanging out at Starbucks, drinking coffee every day and and not working your business and not doing a lot of things, just hanging out is a slow death. You just don't realize it. So growing is all about learning and self-development and growth and doing. So this business has been a real a privilege to be a part of, and I grow and learn every day. Yes, I am pretty disciplined. I'm very organized. So I actually have an outline. So unfortunately, I won't be staring at the camera the whole time because I've got a lot of notes. But I think that social media is something that is a real opportunity for us. I think that sometimes people get confused, like all things that happen. They see some people have success and they make a lot of assumptions, and they kind of miss the real foundation of what's really going on. And social media, I think that there's a lot of people that think that social media is the system to build their business. And in fact, that's not true. What social media really is a way to connect to people, and to be freakishly effective on social media. Your purpose, which should be to make solid connections with people, is more important than the platform in which you're operating. You know, before social media, people that were really successful in this business were really successful at connecting with people. You know, we had home parties, we had those types of things, and that's how we connected. And social media has really broken that foundation away. It's really changed our social demographics of how people meet and talk. I mean, ironically, you go to a restaurant and you look at a family at a table, there'd be 6 of them. None of them speak to each other. They all have their phones out, and the whole time they're on their phones. They don't even look at each other anymore. I mean, they could be texting to each other next to each other. But I mean, that's what social media has done. So we have to understand that this is really a tool to connect with people. And the other part is you have to understand that there's 2 pieces to social media. There's marketing and there's prospecting, and they're not the same. And that's something that people really need to understand. So let's define marketing real quick. Marketing is when you do something that you hope an unnamed individual reacts or responds to. It could be a status update, an image, a video, a flyer, advertisement, billboard, etc. Marketing is passive, where you hope someone takes action from it that notifies you in some way. So right there, marketing, you don't have a lot of control over that. The other piece is prospecting, and that's what you really do control. And prospecting is when you reach out to an individual, online or offline, cold market, which is people you don't know, or warm market, which are friends and family members. It is you at least attempting to start a conversation with an individual. So that's a really fundamental difference. So you're making posts on your Facebook page of products or whatever and think that that's prospecting, you're absolutely wrong. You're marketing. That's all you're doing. And there's a whole lot of other things. Obviously, we could spend hours talking about this and how this works, but there's a lot of science behind it. It's one reason that Facebook has become as big and successful as they are. They know the science. So let's talk briefly about your Facebook page. And this is really important. You need to make your Facebook page about 80% about life, about you, about life, about what's going on, not 90% or 100% about your company or your products. Because we all know that when we go to a Facebook page and we see the entire page has got every product listing, every testimony, everything, you run from that. I mean, let's just be honest. We all do it because we already know what's there. You know, the whole point of social media is to connect with people. So talk about yourself. Talk about the things you like to do. Show pictures of you and your family, you and your friends. You're out. You know, that's something that for me has been difficult as I've kind of gone down this process, because the other side of this is we all are kind of private. We don't want to show everything about us. So this is really a whole way to step out. So in order to protect ourselves, we post all these product things. So be subtle about it. If you're going to have your products, you know, behind me, you can see some of the products behind me. Behind you, I can see some of the products. They're not in front of you. They're behind you. They're subtle. And that's really important with Facebook. Do your product stuff subtly. Do your things on business and be subtle about it. Like show a picture of yourself at the beach and say, gee, I'm so glad I get to go to the beach anytime I want to. Thank goodness I have a home business and I can control when I go to the beach. That's a subtle process of people see that. So here's kind of a formula to remember. Positive attention plus positive connection equals positive results. So for God's sakes, don't go on Facebook and post every story that you've had with your ex-girlfriend and all the drama that happened from that. Or your child has been ditching school and has got expelled again and they're doing drugs. Take all, that's negative stuff. And here's what happens with negative. Negative attention plus negative connection equals negative results. So those, I mean, I cannot, and we all know, all of us can look in this camera today and know how many friends of ours spends 90% of their posting on Facebook is drama, is negative about all the things that are wrong with the world. Oh my God, the political things that go on people. And it's amazing to see those people because that's where their focus is. Kind of back to what Lori said with Jim Rohn. What you focus on is what you attract. So if you're sitting there focusing on all the negative things of why things don't happen the way you want them to do, they keep happening that way and it'll never change. Now here's another one that people miss out on. This is really important. You'll hear people say, you need to brand yourself. And that's not wrong to say that. But don't spend your time branding yourself. Merely posting things about yourself, merely posting things about your family and what you're doing, your activities and stuff, that's a subtle way to brand yourself. But remember this, and this is something that I can't tell people enough about this because they don't, you're doing Janessa a great service when you post everything about their products and all the testimonies and everything there is to post about Janessa on your Facebook page because you're creating and adding to Janessa's brand. We are individual business people. Janessa is a fantastic company. They have products that give results in days, if not weeks, unlike any other company you'll find. Absolutely, hands down, believe in Janessa beyond anything I've ever seen. Hands down. But they don't need to be branded by us. They do it themselves. So brand yourself. Talk about you. Talk about your accomplishments. Talk about the things you like to do. That's really important to emphasize in this. There's so much about social media that we can talk about. I would recommend, there's this website that's, if you Google this, I love this when you find it. Go to a website, type in Google, go to Google, type in, let me Google that for you. And it'll take you to a website that literally you can type in what someone just asked you. And it will generate a video of showing someone how to type Google and type exactly what you said and show them the results. Because how many people out there going, well, gee, I don't know, if you Google it, Google is the greatest thing in the world. But, and there's people that are intimidated that. If you think of Google as talking to each other, and if I asked Malcolm, how can I do this? If you type that same phrase into Google, it will give you results. That's how that works. So you leverage in Google to do things like, for instance, remember this about Facebook. Your personal page should be about you and only you for the most part. Every once in a while, put some other things about Janessa in there if you want, but rarely, 10% of the time. Go out and create yourself a business page. Promote and work with a business page. And go out and create a products page. If you're passionate about the products and you really want to work with the products and develop a customer base, go ahead and build a product page. That's okay. Remember to bear in mind that our good friends at Janessa have this web crawler that has keywords in it. And the way you get in trouble with compliance is when those keywords come out, like Janessa, like Luminous, like Reserve, like any of their product names, the name of the company, Scott Lewis, the leaders of the company. That's what the crawler will find, and that's what will send the alerts to compliance. So if you go to my personal page, you won't see anything on there that references me to Janessa. It keeps me out of trouble with compliance. I mean, that's just kind of some common sense to think about. Your business page, just be aware of those things. Kind of talk in in ways that are more generalized, because the reality of building connections with people is you want them to ask you questions. You know, I've said this before in your call. There's simple things you do. If you have a product page, put some pictures of Zen Body in the background, not front and foremost, and say, oh my gosh. And I personally wouldn't even put the products out there. I would say something like, oh my gosh, my wife just started using this new skincare, and oh my gosh, she looks 10 years younger in less than a month. And stop. Say nothing else and post that. And here's what happens. People that follow your page, people that see that, the people interested are going to come and comment and go, oh my God, what is it? The first thing you want to do is take it offline. Remember, this is a relationship business. People are afraid to pick up the phone and talk to people. It's time to get back to the old school of picking up your phone and call. Don't send them messages and build your business. I had a lady once in my business who Carrie remembers, who wanted me to explain to her how the compensation plan worked in instant message. I was like, are you serious? Really? Here's the video. Oh, I don't learn well with videos. Just tell me this. I'm like, I never did. So the point being is we need to break ourselves out and get back to and understand our main goal is to do some prospecting on our page and to engage the people enough to get their phone numbers so that you can talk to them and understand what they want. I saw this. Let me see if I can find it, because this was priceless. The number one marketing error is focusing on what you have instead of focusing on what others struggle with or want. Focus on what others are looking for, then connect with them to what they have. So you want to find out with people what they want, what they're looking for. And the way to do that is in conversation, asking questions. It's simple. It's such a simple process, and we make it complicated. I will do one pitch with GoMentum because I think the new GoMentum platform, if people aren't on them, it is a phenomenal tool to help you learn what to say and what to send to people. That's so important. You know, you're not going to be an expert at three-ways. I don't think that we as a team spend enough time focused on three-way calls. There's a lot of things I think that we're all kind of having those epiphanies as we want to really grow our businesses to a much larger scale. You know, that's a word that we have. When I built my traditional company, my investors, that was the question they asked me. How are you going to scale this fast? So all of a sudden this year, my goal is to really start approaching Jeunesse the way I did my other business and scale it fast. The irony is social media will not do it for you fast, but it will do it for you. And what you'll find is it's like pushing the stone. As you begin to get it to move, then it moves a little bit better by itself. And pretty soon it's moving. It's not a system. It's merely a tool to connect and talk to people. So that's, you know, be creative. You know what? We're all really smart and creative, but there's some really great things that we've heard. We've heard Paula say, you've said, there's some little phrases you can say like, oh my God, I started using this shake. It's chocolate, it's delicious. I've lost 10 pounds my first week. Stop. Watch how many people are going to come back to you and say, oh my God, what is it? So the last thing you want to do is go, oh, it's Zen Body. Here, let me give you the website. And then everybody else that posts, they can go and look, and guess what? They make their decisions right out of the door. Instead, you say, you know, I'd love to tell you more about it. Let's connect offline. And I'll give you one other secret that you can say. How many people are afraid to give their phone numbers to people? You don't, do you? You don't want to give your phone number to someone that calls you or on instant message, social media. You don't want to give that out. It's a hard number to do. I mean, because you know they're going to be calling you out. So here's what you do. You post to someone, you say, I just lost 10 pounds in a week, and someone comes back and says, oh my God, what is it? And say, hey, let's PM back and forth, private message me, we'll connect. And so you go back and you say, hey, let me call you and tell you about it. And they say, no, I don't like to give out my phone number. Say, that's fine. Let me give you my phone number and you can call me. And oh, by the way, if you could give me your phone number so I'll know when you're calling me, I'll be sure to answer. See, that's a non-threatening way to get someone's phone number. So with that, Malcolm, again, I could go on for a while, but I know we're crunched for time. But I just kind of wanted people to begin to look at social media and remember the keyword Google. Google things like, how can I create relationships on social media? How can I create a business page on Facebook? How can I create this? How can I do this? If you'll Google this stuff, I'm telling you, Google will tell you. And let me finish up. Don't fall victim to the people that are out there on YouTube and social on the internet that are the experts that want to teach you everything, but then they want you to pay them $500 or $200 or $20 a month, whatever it is. Don't fall victim, because this information is free out there on the internet. So with that, Malcolm, I'll give it back to you.
Wow. What a call. Thank you so much for that quick wind up. And I think, you know, it's very strange how we all work together and we're connected to each other in this business. Because for the last few days, Dan, what I've been telling everybody is the fan pages that we've got in Jordan and that we've got in the UK that we were using to lead generate. We were going out before and we were putting out everything about instantly ageless, you know, doctor's show, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly it struck me. And you know, you get that moment like in the old cartoons where you get the mule ears coming out the side of your head, you know, and your teeth get a bit goofy. I sat there and I suddenly felt like a mule. You know, I sat there and I thought, hang on a minute. What we're doing is exactly what you said. We are putting all this information, and guess what everyone's doing? They don't know quite what we're doing. They don't want to talk to us. So they come on the page, they come straight off, then they Google instantly ageless. They Google Jeunesse Global, and they go off to someone else's page, or even worse still, Alibaba that's doing the serum for like $2 or something like that. And I sat there, Dan, and it's so weird that you said this. So we changed that in our organization. And I said, from now on, I don't want you to tell them anything. All I want to do is we have a little video that's about the biz op without telling the company, without telling the product, and nowhere on the page do you mention Jeunesse, products, or anything. And you know, it reminded me of something that you know. We used to say it and taught it for like 20 years. I taught it in corporate business as corporate trainer, which is where I've been. Sell the sizzle, not the steak. Correct? You've heard that, everybody? Sell the sizzle, but not the steak. And here we are, everyone's social media page, including mine, by the way, which is our normal pages. I would have everything. The doctor, Dr. Nathan Newman, here's a link to him. And all I'm doing is promoting the company, helping. They don't need that. They've got 2 million hits a day because we're busy giving them traffic. And also, we're sending people away. And let me give you a classic example. When Becky Hurley put that video together, every mug and mule, and that's what they are, real mules in Jeunesse, went and took her video and put it on their page. So the 99% of people that we didn't know on the page, guess who they contacted? Miss Hurley. And Miss Hurley made 250 grand, became a diamond, and good luck to her. And you lost all those people. So I think that's a great thing. We could spend another hour. We haven't got the time. But today, as you can see, I've been the host. I've got dozens and dozens of pages of notes. I think it was an extraordinary call. We can never, you know, as a host today, I don't think I performed as the best I could, but who cares? You know, my mum loves me, and I know that that's all that matters, because everyone else doesn't really matter. So she's going to make me a nice meal in a moment, and she's going to say, did it go okay? I want to say, it wasn't too bad, Mum, you know. But coming back to tonight's call, fabulous, fabulous call. I'd like to thank personally, if I can, first of all, our Emerald Director. I love her very much. She's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady. If you get to meet her, if you're part of an organization, you work with her, you couldn't find anyone better who's as knowledgeable as she is and really runs the team beautifully. Kerry Dean calling from Canada. We got Laurie, who is sensational. You really are. I just love your passion and your fire. And, you know, we're kindred spirits, really, because you speak from your heart. Excellent training. I always look forward to it. Dan, what can I say? Brilliant. You know, let me just tell you quickly before I finish. I called Dan literally 4 hours before the call, because a lot of people had Easter today, which I understand and respect. And I said, Dan, I'm a bit short of someone. He said, don't worry about it. What do you want me to do? I said, Dan, please talk about something. We talked about social media, and look, he delivered. So thank you very, very much for that. Myself, last couple of things, those two ladies that you saw, the reason I edify them, I talk about them, you know, this is a business of relationships. They're not in my organization. They're not part of something where I earn any cents out of them, but they are people that I call my friends. Every week, without fail, either Sharon or Lindy will contact me or like my post, be in touch, and they're always available to say, Mal, can we do something? You know, how can we be of service? If I ever call them up, I'd love you to be on the call. Regardless of what they're doing, they come and support this call. And I think it's an integral part of what we do with GPG. It's my pleasure. I could certainly go on, but I need to go and digest all of this, and I need to eat as well. And having watched them having a glass of wine, I might just go and get myself a glass of red wine, because I haven't had one in about 3 months. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. Looking forward to our call next Sunday. It's going to be a great call. On the call week after that, I won't be around. I've got a big surgery taking place, so Dan's going to take that call over. I hope you've enjoyed the call. For those of you watching this call again, and every week there is always something. Today, I think it was sensational. There's some fantastic information. Kerry, you were really amazing with the information you gave. Dan, all of you really helped out. Hope you enjoyed it. Malcolm Peters saying good night at 2028 from the United Kingdom, London. Have a fantastic week. Look forward to tomorrow. Monday, new start. Thank you very much. Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.